Sonja obtained her Master of Science in Crop Science and her PhD in plant pathology, both from the North Carolina State University. She worked on plant virology and on transgenic plant resistance to pathogenic fungi. Currently, Sonja works as a regulatory scientist for Syngenta Crop Protection, and among other things, she serves as the lead for detection methods required for regulatory submissions and is a representative in CropLife International Detection Methods expert team. So, Sonja, thank you very much for being here today, and please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the organizers, for the facilitators, for everybody attending this meeting. I would like to also thank you, my colleagues from the CropLife International Detection Methods expert team. I am here on behalf of that team, and I want to thank them for assisting in putting together this presentation, that being A.B. Simons, who is our CropLife International representative, Rachel Lido, Margaret Ross, who you heard presentations from yesterday, Richard Wu, and Martha Poe. But without further ado, I'm going to tell you a little bit about CropLife International, and then we dig into the information tools available through our organization. So, as it was mentioned, CropLife International is an organization representing 6 global agricultural companies, that being Syngenta, Bayer, BASF, and Corteva, as well as 2 others, but those top 4 are the ones that actually develop and commercialize GM products. So, we are, or CropLife International has a total of 11 members associations across the world, 3 in North America, 3 in South America, 1 here in Europe, CropLife, another 1 in Africa, Middle East, and 3 representing the Asia-Pacific region. We also have a plant biotech network globally as well, and depending on the region, you have 1 or more organizations. We are fairly well represented in different places in Latin America, as well as in Asia Pacific. So I want to switch gears to what today's focus of this session is, which is sharing information. So CropLife International website offers access to different databases and information, and they maintain them. I will spend most of my time talking about the detection methods database. As the name implies, this is a database that methods developed and validated by developers are accessible, and I will show you how to get through that. 2 other databases that are available also through the website are the by trade status website database. Here you will find regulatory and market status of a specific agricultural biotechnology products, and the Ag by Investor GM Monitor database, which offers information on GM approvals, planted acreage, and export data as well. An additional resource that I want to bring to your attention is GMO Answers website, not quite a database, but a platform for users or people interested to find accurate, validated answers to GMO questions regarding food and agriculture. And it also provides a lot of information, a lot of infographics, so I encourage you to visit it. So moving on to what the focus of today's talk is going to be, I mentioned, or it was mentioned in my introduction here, that I do represent Syngenta in the detection methods expert team. So I work together with my company colleagues on several fronts, and those being highlighted here. So we do encourage international standardization of detection methods and as they apply to the detection of GMO or organisms. We do promote the implementation of harmonized, practical, science-based regulations for the development, validation, and use of such detection methods. We also provide technical expertise and develop consensus positions, as well as provide answers to regulatory agencies. And we do work with our partners and stakeholders and value chain stakeholders to provide access to the diagnostic methods that we develop and we make public and the appropriate reference materials. Last but not least, we do manage and maintain the database that I'm going to talk about. So I believe the database was launched in 2011. I was now working for Syngenta at the time, but it was launched with multiple goals in mind. One of them was to fulfill the member company commitment to make detection methods available not only for regulatory biosafety requirements that many of your labs are involved in, but offering also a consumer preference and also to encourage the stewardship of our products. We also believe, and I think this community aligns with that, is that offering robust, consistent testing by sharing validated methods that the developers have developed to compliant international standards is necessary, is a must. We want to facilitate method access without major legal agreements or paperwork, to put it that way. You don't need a specific license agreements to access them. We wanted to provide transparency to stakeholders and governments, and also, probably most importantly, we want to support global trade and reduce the potential disruptions to trade. So the key features are listed here. We do provide fairly detailed protocols on event-specific PCR, meaning description of materials, methods, how to go about setting up your reactions, of course, the oligo sequences that you need. So in that sense, it's like an SOP. Check, 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 check. So that's one thing. The other thing is that we also provide information to vendors for protein diagnostic testing, those being ELISAs and lateral flow strips, and links to our certified reference materials. We have 2 providers across the world, that being the American Oil Chemists Society and also the JRC IRMM. And then the publication of methods is usually around sales time. So jumping in on how you can actually go ahead and download the method, if you were to visit this particular website, the first page you encounter is a little bit of information about the database itself. Here there, all right. Then you can actually access additional information if you wish to do so, but to access the database, the link is here. So you would actually, it's a hyperlink that will take you to the database. So this is the very first interface. It's a filtering interface with several categories. You can filter by crop, by the developer, by the commercial name, by the event name, or even the OECD identifier, as well as by the protein that the particular product may be expressing. All right, I don't think I can. Just a second. There we go. So just to give you an example, for if I were interested in downloading the method for 5307, also known as AgriSure Duracade, I would make my pertinent selections. It's a MACE event. It's from Syngenta. It's called AgriSure Duracade 5307, and it expresses what we call the E-Cry3 1AB active ingredient. And with that selection, you will be shown a hyperlink to the product. So this is probably the most important page, not the most important, but it offers a lot of information. And so you will see that the vendor for the certified reference material, in this case is AOCS. If you were to hit the hyperlink, it will take you directly to their website, where you can place your order. We also have links to providers of our ELISA kits and the flow lateral strips, in this case being Envirologics and Romer Labs, for the active ingredient, acry protein, and the selectable marker PMI. And then, most importantly, you will hit this hyperlink that will take you to the last one that will take you to the actual method. You will be asked if you are undertaking a fee-for-service testing. If you were to say no, the mouse. Okay. Whoops. All right, thank you. Now I want to go back. There we go. Apologies for that. So I mentioned to you that if you are not taking you are not downloading this method for a fit-for-service testing, then it is very simple and quick to access the method. You will hit this page where you are informed of what the limited license is. And then if you were to complete the form with the correct email, you will automatically get an email with a hyperlink to a PDF of the method. So in this case, I was trying 5307, and sure enough, that PDF was in my inbox in a matter of seconds. So that's how easy it is to access any of the methods that we have published in the database. So I do encourage every one of you to please, just visit it. If you needed the method is available to you for enforcement, for LLP, for traceability. So please do visit us. So who is visiting the database or the website? These are metrics for 2022, and these are the top 10 countries. United States, most of the visits come from United States, about 25%, then followed by Germany, this country, China, the Netherlands. But out of these 10, 5 of them are European countries. So this take-home message, there is a high interest in Europe as well as in the United States. But for those that are from other regions, do please visit our methods if you need to have access to them. All right, so what are the benefits to the users? It enables governments and companies to test commodities and food and feed products without any additional legal agreements, unless performing a fee-for-service testing. And you can be assured that the methods are up to date. They've been developed and validated by the trade providers. So that's, if you want to go to the point of truth, download the methods from the CropLife international site. Questions and inquiries can be sent to the developers, and also, as Austin mentioned, the database has been recently linked to the Biosafety Clearinghouse, and we are thrilled for that, because now you have different ways to access information. Last but not least, I mentioned to you a couple of other resources that are offered through the CropLife International website, and that being the Biotrade Status database. So in this case, that is the interface that you would first encounter. As many databases, is a filtering exercise of what you want to find or what you want to download. So you can filter the search by market status. Is it commercialized? Is it not? By type of authorization, food, feed, import, by crop, by the product, as well as by the company or by the country that is being marketed or authorized. So the results are on a tabular form here. They can be sorted for, whatever preference you may have, by country, by producer, by event. This is an example, again, following the 5307 search that I mentioned. So here it's shown the top 3 countries by alphabetical order, and you can see information on the market status as well as on the authorization. This is a very sensitive pointer. But so that will be kind of the information that you will be retrieving. Last but not least is the Ag by Investor database. Actually, when you visit this site, there is 2 independent databases. One of them will inform you on the cultivation area of GM crops and the export information. The graphics are quite interactive with embedded additional information on, on the data, and the data is downloadable. So in this particular graph here, or snapshot, I selected maize, didn't filter by country, but basically it's a histogram of through time regarding the acreage of maize, of GM maize. These graphics can be zoom in, zoom out. This is trade destinations. You can find additional trade information related to specific countries. That trade information is also depicted on monetary volume, as well as metric tons. And then I mentioned that there is an additional set of data available through another database called Approvals Database. Again, very interactive as far as additional information that you can find. If you click on different countries, data can be filtered and is also in a tabular form. In addition, this database offers a URL to regulatory agencies' website, which, as you know, they do have additional information on authorization status of these products. So to wrap up, I would like to reiterate and this point again some of the highlights or take-home messages that I would like to convey here. We all know that the provision of standardized validated methods is needed to enforce biosafety regulations, to support global trade, product traceability, and also encourage guaranteed or support stewardship activities. Methods developed and validated by trade developers are available through this database, and they are easily accessible without specific license agreements. I show you that you can access information to providers of our certified reference materials and also to diagnostic protein kits. Questions can be directly addressed to the developers who manage and maintain this database. And we are hoping to publish specific documents for taxon-specific methods coming soon. And of course, I show you how the other two databases, the Biotrade Status, as well as the AgBio Investor. Without further ado, I would like to thank everybody, and thank you.